billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to all our viewers and welcome on a new episode of Youth Matters on Hidayat TV with me, your host Sakina Habib. I pray that all of you are keeping in good health and all of you had a wonderful Eid break, inshallah. So we are going to be discussing a very unique topic today, and as you know, that Youth Matters is a platform where we bring current, fresh, timely lifestyle topics that are related to media and communication, as well as connected to the Quran and the Ahlul Bayt, and also looking into current updates to give education and informational values to this program, inshallah. So moving on to today's program, well, I'm sure that you are very much aware with the term influencer because we see a lot of influencers growing on social media platforms and playing a great role in having a great impact in our society. And when we look at this word influencer, it means that these people have a certain effect on our lives as well, where we tend to reciprocate or mimic their actions as well. Now, what's really fascinating is that there is also a subcategory which is called Kidfluencers that is more targeted towards the children's audience. And these are children who have considerable online following by creating child-centered content on social media channels. So the children sometimes are hardly ever the owners and decision makers behind their platforms, but are mostly guided and encouraged by their parents. Now, within the last 7 to 10 years, content created by children has become increasingly popular, especially amongst other children. And the most common types of content that you must have noticed or you would have seen on different TV channels are like toy reviews and daily video blogs or vlogs documenting the children's lives. The high viewing numbers of these videos have made them easily monetizable through brand deals and sponsorships. Even though a small number of influencers are this successful, the prospect of earning a steady income has attracted many families to participate in the trend. And as it becomes the norm to post content of babies and toddlers online to share them with family and friends, we have to reassess what level of privacy is normal in our society. As the digital environment changes and we become more and more uh, comfortable with having an online presence, it is important to consider how this may have an effect on the children in the future. So now, here is the question: that how far can kid influencing be good or bad for your child or for children in society, and what potential risks or dangers can we expect as well? On today's program, I will be joined by my respected guest, Salwa Habib. She is a media and communication researcher as well at the moment, and she is a final year student at York University in Toronto. And I would like to welcome her. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you?
Walaikum assalam, Sister Sakina. Thank you so much for having me here. I hope you're doing well as well, and all of the viewers, wherever they may be in the world, wherever they're watching from, I hope they're doing okay. Belated Eid Mubarak to everybody, and I hope everyone had an amazing Eid.
So much, Salwa. It's a pleasure having you on board. So, Salwa, as I off by introducing about what influencers really are. And, I've already given a small idea about what influencers do. So let's first start with how and when did this influencer culture basically start? Maybe you can share a first-hand experience from your research as well.
Okay, so Kidfluencer culture, it's not something new. There's traditional child stars such as Macaulay Culkin and Lindsay Lohan. they achieved in an age before social media, demonstrated how difficult it could be to manage the unique mental and emotional challenges that come along with being a young celebrity. Like at that time, there wasn't even this knowledge, this research hadn't even been done, which is why people didn't even know about the effects and the impact that this has on young children. It goes back to the days when we, as teenagers and young children, like back, in the late 90s, the early 2000s, when we would just plump into our sofas in our sitting room to watch movies categorized and labeled for below 13 years. These are like children movies, like the Christmas holiday movies, fantasy movies, fictional movies. All of them fall into this. Examples that I can think of myself as a child, movies that I really love, like Home Alone, like Harry Potter, all of these movies. And these certain child artists or kid artists, they received so much fame because children are a huge audience. They are a huge target audience. And when these little celebrities, when they appeal to the hearts of these young children and they get so much fame, it is difficult then to leave. Once you're in, it's different from that because now you're in the middle of so much fame and so much recognition and so much love and attention. So moving on to the evolution of when social media hit, like say around 2009 onwards, with the rise of Mark Zuckerberg's Facebook, WhatsApp. Then WhatsApp came along, Instagram, Twitter, and all of these applications. And then the level of kidfluencers gradually increased. So before we were seeing kidfluencers only on television, in the form of likes, but now we're seeing Instagram celebrities, children who are Instagram celebrities, children on social media.
Yes, exactly, Salma. I think you've actually, brought in the timeline pretty well because I can also relate and connect to this. I remember as a child as well, having watched a lot of Disney cartoons, right? Where we used to, sort of connect ourselves to the fictional princesses and stuff like that. And I remember those costumes and items that they used to wear as well used to be advertised in the local stores or in the markets, and we would want to buy them just because we want to look like Cinderella or Princess Jasmine and all of that. And I remember, yes, as you mentioned, there are certain child artists basically who became so famous because of their movies. And then later on, when social media basically grew and revolutionized, we see how these child artists started taking over now through social media apps, and because of their famous presence now, items were being marketed and branded because of their names or because of their logos and all of that. Now, the very good question that pops up into many everybody's mind is that how do you think can this impact the mental health of children, especially if it's a child who's growing up looking at all of this, or is basically a celebrity, a young celebrity who has grown in this environment and in this surrounding. How do you think can this impact the mental health of this child or children in the future?
Okay, so even as everybody is well aware of the impact that the impact that social media has on adults and teenagers, in the sense of like the maintaining a reputation on social media for many young people, the youth, and even adults, they go through this. So imagine if the impact is so deep rooted in adults and teenagers who have a much more you can say a much more sharper mind than a child, then you can only imagine the impact that it would have on the mind of a child. It teaches a child to present a version of themselves which will be liked by other people. So like basically the mission of this individual now is people pleasing, is to please other people and to do things that other people like, rather than asking, what do I like. They're going to grow up asking what will people like. And that's the image that they're going to create. Um, Their Dr. Breezy, a clinical psychologist. She's also a managing director of Lighthouse Arabia. I'd like to quote. She says that if a child has online persona, they'll have a very weak understanding of themselves. And I mean, because adolescence is a time kids are forming their identity and their sense of self. And I couldn't agree more. Because as a child, if you're just a child, if a child is thrown into the world of social media right when they are just developing their emotional intelligence, they are just now understanding how the world around them works, and you throw them into the realm of social media, so it is definitely meant to have an impact on the way that they think of themselves and the way they think how things are supposed to work. It can impact the child's mental health, relationships, and overall life decisions as well. And Dr. Saleh Hashi continues on to say that if you don't know who you are and you don't know your values, you don't have an internal reference point for making decisions. As in, all of your decisions are based on uh, what what so and so is doing and what so and so likes. So basically, you have no autonomy over yourself. You have no autonomy over your own mind, over your own decisions, which is a problem and can continue to be a grave problem as this child is going to grow up. Because this child basically does not know what to do for themselves and how to take care of themselves and their needs before everybody else's. And that can lead to further challenges as they transcend, as they get into their adulthood, as they transition into their teenage and their adulthood.
Yes, absolutely. I actually agree with you on this. In the long term, it definitely plays a great impact on the child's emotional as well as their mental health. However, I also found a slight twist into this as I was going through, a couple celebrities' pages, and I was just sort of doing my research. Um, some, but not all celebrities have different opinions on this as well. For example, Family Fizz. Okay, Family Fizz. They're really famous and they're very well known. Their family who promote and do advertisements and stuff like that, and they're very famous on their Instagram page as well. Now, Family Fizz don't only have one child star; they have age 1, 8, and 14. And the mom, Georgie, and the dad, Darren, they also are all a part of this. Now, with a positive upbeat is that this bubbly family who live in the UAE has amassed 541,000 followers on Instagram and 2.2 million subscribers on YouTube, along creating a healthy environment for their kidfluencers has been very critical. Now, the father, Darren, apparently, I'm quoting what he says, that we want our children to have a happy, healthy, and stable home environment, which we didn't have growing up, but at the same time, we have to keep things grounded. And he also says that this involves using social media time to time artistically to build their own content instead of simply looking at what other people and brands put up, while encouraging the children to limit how much time they spend online. So what he is actually doing is that he is comparing their use of social media to modern conveniences done in excess. What he's trying to say is that in a way, like, when we're even doing these promotional stuff online, we actually make sure that we eat, for example, plant-based foods. We are balancing our work and our social life. We are doing our daily physical exercise as well. We are getting outside for some sunshine. We're consuming some positive media that it's a way to have fun and secure our future in the process. So this is what is the mentality of some celebrities, right? Like they think that when we are, doing all these things online, when we are, entertaining everybody else, and we are enjoying. I mean, it's just like living in a normal house, and you're doing your things, and people are watching you, and at the same time, you're actually making a lot of money, right? So this is one opinion that we found. However, there are a lot of celebrities who do say that they really had to go through a lot of obstacles as they were growing up as well, because it wasn't easy. For example, if you are a teenager and you have to balance your work and school life, and at the same time, or also be an Instagrammer and be a public figure, basically, because people have a lot of expectations from you, and sometimes even your very close friends feel that you're not giving them that enough quality time, and then a lot of issues even take place between relationships, and that takes a toll on the mental health of the young celebrities. Now, I'm sure, Salwa, you would like to share about how these parents, when they share content of their children for some myriad reasons, what are those reasons, and what do you think? Like how are they gaining this commercial gain?
Well, you see, these parents, they have like trained their children to to have like a social media presence, and basically through this, then they get the chance to their kids are now opening the way for them basically to get access to different brands and different sponsorships, which is in fact benefiting the parents, more than the children. This whole presence usually benefits the parents. And I give an example actually. Uh, I think we all remember the Olsen twins from Full House. um, the little
Yes,
children, the
yes, yes.
Olsen twins, they're, after many years after, I mean, Full House was a huge success and everything, but many years later, uh, the Olsen twins themselves, they kind of said that their parents were behind everything that they were doing. It wasn't like because they were babies, right? They didn't really have the choice, isn't it? So, and well, it came under a lot of fire basically for the fact that they kind of like used their children for their own purposes and to gain fame and something unusual. A lot of parents, unfortunately, and now I don't know if we should blame capitalism for this and the growing pressure that young parents have to face, or if we should blame the parents themselves. I don't really think you can blame anyone over here, because it is a very it's a very sensitive. This whole thing is a very sensitive issue. Yeah.
No,
Now,
actually, yes.
yeah, continue. Go ahead.
No, please do continue, Silva. I think you established a very good point over there about how these influencers had to suffer as well. And yes, we're going to carry on.
Yeah, so I have a question for you now. Sister Sakina, do you think that YouTube is the world's most popular babysitter?
Yes, that's a very good question, Salwa. I think definitely, most definitely. Especially I think post COVID, uh, during COVID, in fact, during the COVID pandemic, as well as after, it prompted a surge, in screen time for kids. Who are being marketed toys as well as other products normally targeted to adults. So, for example, if you see some product lines for kids, they are now a big business. In 2021, the global toys market was actually projected to grow from about $141 billion US dollars to $230 billion by 2028. So, it's now common to see YouTube kidfluencers like marketing toys to other kids through toy reviews. But what we notice is that, sometimes they're mashups that blur the lines. So we need to be careful on those areas as well. But the most popular toy review channel, they have a lot of millions of subscribers, and their hosts are some of YouTube's very, very much top earners. For example, Ryan's World is probably the most well-known channel in this genre. He's an 11-year-old boy, and they make a lot of income just by giving these toy reviews, like almost $25 million US dollars each year. Yeah. So the idea of making a steady income through social media is understandably an appealing scenario. However, everybody allowing and encouraging to post content of themselves online must be aware of the potential associated risk factors, and do their best to keep children safe from abuse. Now, I just want to add a point. I think you mentioned that, how parents basically take over their children when it comes to the income bit as well. The French government apparently appears to be the only one that has taken a tangible action to regulate the labor of child social media influencers. So, under French law, children below age 16 can only work limited hours, and their earnings must be safeguarded in an account made accessible when they turn 16. So, looking into all of these aspects as well. In fact, some YouTubers and some people actually suggested that YouTube should also use this guideline that the French government is using, and that it should be made universal. So that's still sort of in process, but mostly we're not really seeing that. Now, I want to discuss about some measures that we can all take as a general public. Uh, I think I would like to ask you that what measures do you think can you parents or the general public propose or take to keep the influencer boundaries in check and in control? Salwa.
Okay, so that is a very important question, and something that, as we progress, something need to focus on. Apart from advocating for individual responsibility and educating parents, other social media users about the harmful consequences for the affected children, we also keep pushing social media platforms to implement stricter privacy and safety regulations regarding the sharing and distribution of images online. Social media is not exactly the perfect space, especially in terms of privacy. And while we are well aware of this, especially when we Facebook and the whole incident that with the whistleblower Frances Hawken, I believe was her name, and the whole that she when she came out and said all these things about Facebook, and people were shocked to hear. And although Mark Zuckerberg denied all of it, but then did have to Facebook and thus changed the name to Meta. So we are aware of the dangers that are present on social media, especially in terms of privacy. So we need to push the makers of these platforms to protect the rights of our children online and to create stronger privacy. Yeah.
Yes, you're actually right. Apart from advocating for individual responsibility and educating parents and other social media about the harmful consequences for the affected children, we also must keep pushing social media platforms to implement stricter privacy, and some sort of safety regulations, regarding when it comes to the sharing and distribution of, the images online as well. So, very well said. I was looking at some research that identifies the key areas of concern, which said that if there is a lack of online private influencers have many aspects of their life publicized online, it could cause them danger because we don't know which strangers are lurking outside and how are they children basically, and then also the commodification of children, and the ending of a culture geared at upselling them products and services. All of that comes into play as well. And also about the stealth marketing of toys, meaning, how people are actually making a lot of profit out of these toys that are being advertised online, and, making a lot more money, which is actually expected. Now, if we also, look into the Islamic perspective, right? Like there are a lot of good cartoons and, you know, good kidfluencers, Islamic kidfluencers whom we find in the Islamic, world, right? So we see, for example, a lot of children who like to basically recite the Holy Quran, so they're uploading their, Quran recitations or anasheeds and stuff like that. Also, if they are maybe interested in showcasing their art and craft work or something like that, I think that is okay because uh, unless you're promoting anything which is unhealthy. For example, I've seen some advertisements where unhealthy food is also being promoted while these ads are promoted. For example, if you see for Ryan's, sometimes they're eating McDonald's burgers or stuff like that. It's quite unhealthy for a small child to be eating burgers and sodas all the time at home with French fries and stuff like that. Although they're advertising, these high branded food chains, um, and they're making money out of it. But let's look at the negative part over here, that how the children are, and it leads to diabetes and obesity, and in these young children from a very age. And as they are growing, they don't understand the difference between, is this ad, beneficial for me, or what sort of an ad is this? Is this like a fun video, right? So we need to keep a check on all of this. Um, I would like to end the program today, and let's see if you have any uh, final words to say, Salwa, on how can we basically, as parents, improve, bring that improvement in our lifestyles. For example, how can we, monitor our kids, or if we don't want them to watch such programs a lot more, are there any other diversions probably that they can reach out to?
Um, uh, I know that parenting, is not an easy task, and for young parents, it is so hard to navigate, with a child because they're new to the whole experience as well. But if they want to protect their from social media and from investing so much of their time into the online world, maybe they can divert them with more creative things. Like reading and different kinds of books. There are many beautiful Islamic books as well, prophet stories, and other than Islamic things, there are many coloring books, books about the animal world. Anything which is visual, which is going to interest a child, but is not exactly online either. And maybe take out the time to take them out, to in nature, to the park, to I don't know, for painting, or things which are hands-on and away basically from the online world. You don't have to worry about them that, oh, they won't know about the online world, because they will, as they let them enjoy childhood away from the online world, because as they grow they will be compelled to be a part of the online world, because the world is now digital, and one cannot survive without being digitally invested. So it will come. They will find their digital presence. Let them be, let kids basically, and then as they grow a little bit, they have to anyways be thrown into that world, because this is the world that we're living in now, and there's no way that we can escape it. I think that's that's all I have to say.
Thank you very much. That was actually an excellent message out there and something that's very useful. And thank you so much, Salwa, for joining on today's program. Thank you for your valuable time. Thank you. Thank you, viewers, for tuning on today's program. And we've definitely discussed and highlighted some very vital key points on today's program. And yes, Kidfluencer is really on the rise and it's taking over at a very fast rate. So we need to be careful about the things that are being exposed online. And as Salwa even mentioned, she's given some great, amazing diversions on how we can get these kids involved into other hand activities so that they're not relying on just the screen time devices because that's we don't know sometimes what they're watching and the messages that are being promoted in certain cartoons or toy reviews, right, and how the child takes it. So it's very important that we know how the psychology of the child works as well. Thank you very much for tuning on today's program. This is your host, Sakina Habib, and inshallah, I'll be catching you for next week. Have a lovely day. Thank you. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.